Have you ever wondered how much truth is there in a political campaign? In today's world, political campaigns are more than just a platform for candidates to share their views and plans for governance. They've evolved into complex machines of persuasion, where the line between fact and fiction often blurs. Deception and manipulation have become common tools, employed to sway public opinion and garner support. The age-old practice of propaganda has found a new playground in the realm of politics. It shapes how we perceive candidates and their platforms. It's a carefully crafted narrative, designed not just to inform, but to influence. It presents a worldview, but often it's a skewed one, biased in favor of the candidate using it. This isn't just about twisting facts or cherry-picking data. It's about creating an illusion, a reality that syncs with the beliefs and biases of potential voters. It's about tapping into fears and hopes, playing them up or down, depending on what serves the campaign's narrative. Consider a candidate promising lower taxes or more jobs. Such promises are often grounded in half-truths, neglecting the complexities and trade-offs involved in policymaking. They are designed to appeal to voters, to make them believe that their lives will improve once the candidate is in power. But how often do these promises materialize once the election is over? Then there are smear campaigns where the goal is not to promote oneself, but to discredit the opposition. The truth becomes a casualty in this game of mudslinging, as candidates focus more on tearing each other down than on building themselves up. And let's not forget the role of social media, where misinformation can spread like wildfire. It's a breeding ground for fake news and alternative facts, further muddying the waters of truth. All this leaves us in a conundrum. We're trying to choose leaders based on their promises, their platforms, their perceived integrity. But when the truth is so elusive, when it's twisted and turned to serve a political agenda, how can we make an informed choice? We are left to wonder, are we electing leaders based on truths or twisted realities? Now, imagine the impact of these deceptive practices on our society. Misinformation, like a ripple in a pond, reverberates throughout society, gradually eroding the bedrock of public trust. When political leaders twist facts and manipulate truths, it undermines the very essence of democracy. The trust we place in our elected officials is not just a psychological contract, but an emotional one. When this trust is broken, it leaves a void, and this void is often filled with fear and division. The stakes are high. In a world where false narratives can spread faster than the truth, the societal impact is profound. Misinformation can ignite social unrest, incite violence, and even lead to wars. It's like a wildfire, spreading unchecked, consuming everything in its path, leaving a trail of destruction in its wake. But the damage doesn't stop at the societal level. Misinformation also has the potential to skew policymaking. Leaders who base their decisions on false narratives, or worse, deliberately create them, can cause policies that do more harm than good. They can lead to misguided laws and regulations, misallocation of resources, and eventually, a society that is far removed from reality. Consider a society where decisions are made on the basis of falsehoods. It's like walking blindfolded on the edge of a cliff, not knowing when you might take a wrong step. It's a dangerous game, one that we cannot afford to play. The cost of deception is far too high. It's not just about the political leaders who lose their credibility. It's about the ordinary people who bear the brunt of the consequences. It's about the young minds that grow up in a world where truth is a rare commodity. It's about the generations that inherit a society built on a foundation of lies. Truth is the lifeblood of a democratic society. When it's compromised, the very fabric of society begins to unravel. When leaders choose manipulation over truth, it's not just their reputation that suffers. It's our society that pays the price. The cost of deception is high. It's our society that pays the price. But what if things were different? What if we had leaders who valued truth over political gain? Let's take a moment to imagine that scenario. In a world where honest leadership is the norm, we would see a profound shift in the political landscape. Instead of campaigns built on deceit and misdirection, we would witness platforms built on verifiable facts and transparent plans of action. Our leaders wouldn't just tell us what we want to hear to secure our votes. They would tell us what we need to hear to foster our understanding and make informed decisions. This honesty would pave the way for constructive dialogue, replacing the current culture of division and hostility. We would have discussions based on real issues, not manufactured controversies. Truth would be the common ground on which we all stand, regardless of our political affiliations. Informed decision-making would be another byproduct of honest leadership. When leaders present us with the unvarnished truth, we can make decisions that truly reflect our interests and values. We would no longer be swayed by empty promises or catchy slogans. Instead, we would vote based on the merit of the policies and the integrity of the individuals proposing them. Moreover, with honesty at the helm, public policies would be designed to address the real needs of society. Leaders would prioritize solutions over scoring political points. They would make difficult decisions when needed, not just the popular ones. This would lead to tangible improvements in our quality of life and contribute to the overall progress of our society. But let's not limit our thinking to the hypothetical. We deserve this reality. We deserve leaders who are brave enough to tell us the truth, even when it's uncomfortable. Leaders who are accountable, who prioritize the collective good over personal gain. Leaders who understand that their role is not just about wielding power, but about serving the people. Honest leadership isn't just a dream, it's a necessity. It's the cornerstone of a thriving, transparent, and just society. It's high time we demand it, expect it, and accept nothing less. Because the truth is, we deserve nothing less. Yet the power to change this doesn't rest solely in the hands of our leaders. It's critical to remember that we, the people, hold a significant amount of power in this equation. Our responsibility extends beyond casting a vote every few years. We have the power to demand truth, transparency, and accountability from those we choose to lead us. We are not simply passive spectators in a grand political theater, but rather active participants in the shaping of our society. We have the power to question, to challenge, and to critically evaluate the information presented to us. In the age of information, we are armed with the tools to do so. We can fact-check, we can research, we can engage in meaningful debates and discussions. But with this power comes great responsibility. We must be vigilant in our pursuit of truth. We must be discerning and critical of the information we consume. We must recognize when we are being manipulated or deceived, and we must hold those responsible accountable. Our power extends to the ballot box. We have the right to choose leaders who prioritize truth and transparency, who value the well-being of their people over political gain. We must use our votes wisely, not swayed by empty promises or populist rhetoric, but informed by facts and critical thinking. We can no longer afford to be passive. We must demand better from our leaders and from ourselves. We must reject deception and manipulation and champion truth and transparency instead. We must remember that we are not powerless. We are not victims of a broken system, but agents of change within it. We must stand up and say enough is enough. We must demand the truth, even when it's uncomfortable or inconvenient. We must refuse to be manipulated, to be deceived, to be kept in the dark. We must hold our leaders accountable for their actions and their words. The power to demand truth is in our hands. Let's use it. So where does this leave us? What can we do as individuals and as a society? The answer lies in us embracing our roles as active citizens. We have the power to shift the narrative, to question the information we receive, and to demand honesty and transparency from our leaders. It starts with us. It starts with you. In a world where misinformation spreads like wildfire, it's crucial for us to seek the truth. No longer can we passively consume information. We must critically analyze the messages we receive, verify the facts, and question the sources. We must be vigilant in our pursuit of the truth, because the truth is the foundation upon which we build our society. But seeking the truth is merely the first step. We must also demand honesty from our leaders. We must hold them accountable for their words and actions. We must insist on transparency, on leaders who are willing to admit their mistakes, leaders who are willing to put the interests of the people before their own. And this demand for honesty extends beyond words. It needs to be reflected in our actions, especially when it comes to voting. An informed vote is a powerful tool for change. We must remember that our leaders are a reflection of our choices. As we cast our votes, let's make sure we're choosing leaders who align with our values, leaders who prioritize truth over deception, and leaders who are committed to serving the people. But remember, civic engagement doesn't end at the ballot box. It's a continuous process. We must stay informed, participate in public discourse, and hold our leaders accountable, even after they're elected. We're not just spectators in this political arena. We're active participants. Our voices matter. Our actions matter. We have the power to shape the narrative, to demand the truth, and to usher in a new era of honest leadership. So let's rise and act. Let's question. Let's demand. Let's vote. For a society built on truth, for leadership rooted in honesty, and for a future that we can believe in. We deserve the truth. Let's not settle for less. It's time to demand it from our leaders.